Hello, this is Cynthia Horner from Right on Digital, and I am here with Taja Simpson, and we also have her pets here.
Yeah.
She's
You
going
may
to,
see them throughout the interview. Hey guys, what's up?
yeah, and we love it. Sometimes I put a stuffed animal on camera with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in fact, Snoop Dogg saw my toy dog and he said, I like your dog. What's his name? And I said, his name is Snoop, just like you.
Ah,
It was really funny. But
yeah, that's
anyway,
so.
you are going to talk to us first about Lola too. So
Hmm.
tell us about your character and what made you interested in getting involved with this particular film.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's see, Lola too. I'm really excited about the second installment of this film. It started off just with about a woman trying to find herself, trying to figure out who she was. She was sexually assaulted. That led her to learn how to do self-defense classes, and then that led her to boxing. And boxing became her like saving grace. It became the thing that she didn't know that she needed, and it made her into the best version of herself. And you see her go through that in Lola 1, and then Lola 2. Now she's really taking the boxing journey on, and she's becoming one with boxing. She's like gotten a lot better, and all these things that are happening to her. So I was really excited just about the role because it was something I'd never done. I'd never been in a role that required this much physicality, and this much dedication to it as it relates to the physical transformation that I had to do. I was never a boxer. I enjoy the sport. I love watching the sport. I even love going to Vegas to watch the sport, but I'd never quite been in a ring with someone before. And learning that skill set was, oh my God, it was unlike anything I'd ever done. The level of discipline it took, the level of mental focus that it took. It was like the mind to muscle, mind to memory coordination. We're learning all of the drills and everything you have to learn in order to learn how to fight. And it was the hardest thing I'd ever done. Because learning the lines, I always tell my actors when I'm coaching them, learning lines is the prerequisite. Like that's your job, but you have to do something extra to really breathe life into those words off the page to allow us really fall in love with your character. So not only have to do that, but then also learn the choreography and the physicality of the role was something that I'd never done. And that's what attracted me. I wanted to be in a position and be in a role that's something I'd never done. I wanted to go ahead and transfer my body. I wanted to learn a new skill, which is a lot of fun for me. And I wanted to be in the shoes of this woman who lived with such uncertainty and trying to figure out who she was, because she was the complete opposite of me. So that's what attracted me to Lola.
Now, in terms of the physicality, how did you get prepared since you were not a boxer?
Yes, honey. A lot of training, a lot of training, like months and months and months of training. I think for the first one, I started in like, just with the conditioning, I want to say in like the November before we shot in like May. And then I had to, because the first of all, the conditioning, like you do 3-minute rounds and you're about to die. You are literally, I'm like this, I thought I was in better shape than this, but it's a completely different muscle. It's like when you do a weight training and then you go to do something with cardio or like CrossFit, different muscles. Or you try to go swimming, that's a great workout, different muscles. Like you're working different things. So I had to learn how to breathe a certain way. I had to learn how to move my feet a certain way, how to punch a certain way. And it took months and months for me to be able to learn that. I worked with various different trainers. And that's what I learned too, is that every trainer has their own style. Like there's no one right way to box. Yeah, there are the basics and things, but every trainer has their own style, has their own way. And then you have to find your own style and how you're going to move and how you're going to be light on your feet and things like that. But yeah, it took definitely a few months. And my last trainer that I worked with right before I went off to shoot, we worked, I want to say the last 2-3 weeks, we worked like 6 hours a day. I would do 10 rounds of 3 10-minute rounds. So really to really build up my endurance. And when I started, I could barely get through 2 rounds without like really huffing and puffing. And by the end, I was able to get through the 10 like it was nothing. He'd be like, let's go one more. And I'd be like, okay, it's a real mind thing. It's like mind over matter. You have to really tap into another level mentally where you've never been to push yourself to go to places that you want to, where you want to go. So you have to go somewhere you've never been if you want to get to where you want to be. And that's what I had to do with Lola.
Wow, that is a fascinating story. You were a knockout.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us about some of the other characters that were in the film as well, because we all know their names. So did you get to know them really, really well during the course of filming?
Yes. So, I mean, Carissa Shields, I mean, she's an Olympian. She's a #1 boxer. She even did great in MMA. Like, when she was signed on, that's when I was like, okay, I'm really excited because she's amazing. Right. But then also we had to make sure that all of our proper forms were signed so that um she knew, because I'm an actor, she's a actual real boxer, and I'm like, we need to make sure that she understands this is choreography. Please do not hit me in the face. Like, for real, like, whoops, my bad. Because I didn't want to be in a position where, it gets really real. Your emotions are involved. You're really trying to win this fight. You become the character. She's the character. And I'm like, I don't want to look up and all of a sudden I'm really hit, So that was something that we had to make sure we really worked out prior to meeting her in person. But when I met her in person, she was a sweetheart. I mean, she was the nicest girl ever. And I was like, wow, you kick butt, honey. But, her boxing persona is something totally different than who she is as an actual human. So that was really lovely. Elise Neal, she played my boxer trainer. She was wonderful. I mean, I grew up watching her, in various movies,
Right.
shows. So it was just like, oh my God. Tamala Jones. Oh my God, Tamala Jones. I loved Tamala Jones. Now, she played Carissa's trainer. So we didn't get a chance to interact a lot, but we interacted more so off camera. And just the spirit of who she was, I just completely enjoyed her and I just completely loved her. I think for me, what made it so just encouraging, enlightening, and just fascinating was that here are these amazing women who saw Lola 1 and decided, yeah, I want to be a part of Lola 2. And I know Lola 1 was like the movie that was like the little engine that could, because we just believed in something. And that's the power of belief. When you believe in something and you work around like-minded people, you can really create something beautiful. And I believe that's what we did with the first one. And that beauty that we were able to put on screen allowed much bigger names to want to be a part of it for Lola 2. I mean, we had Roy Jones Jr. even make a cameo in it. You know what I mean? It was like, what? Like, it was just amazing. Like, I am so proud of the work we were able to do in Lola 2. I'm so proud of working with Antoine Allen Films. When he puts his mind to something, he makes sure that he gets it done. And that's something that I absolutely learned from him. Because, let's not get it twisted. We're still doing film. And when that happens in production, things tend to happen in production. Some type of, things happen. I don't know. We're not making a day, or something happened with this or something happened with that. And he is the calmest guy you'd ever want to meet. He'd be like, okay, no problem. Okay, great. Okay. Like, oh, okay. And then he'd figure something else out. We could work around it, or he'll be like, it'll work out. Don't worry about it. You guys, don't worry about it. It'll work out. And it always worked out. So it was just a beautiful experience. Not only working with great people, that's a part of it now, but then also our leader, who was able to really captivate such a beautiful culture of, hey, don't stress. It's going to work out. And it always did.
Wow, you have such fantastic stories.
Oh, thank you.
Now let's talk about a couple of other films that you've been in, because I know that you were in Tyler Perry's Medea's Boo.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done that, and you've done so many things. What are some of your favorite projects that you worked on?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So I was in Boo 2 and Medea's Halloween. Yes, you're right. My favorite, well, I have to say the TV show that I'm on is also a Tyler Perry show. It's Tyler Perry's The Oval. It comes on BET. We're one of the top shows on BET. I play Priscilla Owen. That's definitely one of my favorites because I get to really go on a much longer journey. When you're on television, your character, you're on a much longer journey with them than you are in film. So I love bringing Priscilla to life. She is a dynamic woman and she's beautifully flawed, and she has so many different layers and so many different hats that she has to wear. And as an actor, I love that. I love being able to play someone that's beautifully flawed, because I feel like as humans, we all are beautifully flawed in our own way. But finding her and then all the layers that's upon her that she has to do to still get the job done. I mean, that's just Black women, right? Amen. So she,
And
she,
the
she's a lot of
Oval
fun.
was such a fan favorite. I know some people that are really addicted to that show.
Yes. yes. My mother and all my fans, and all my family included, for sure. So that one is definitely, one that's super fun. And I have some other ones coming up. I'm going to be in, actually just aired on Thursday, is that girl Lele. And I love that one just
Oh,
because it's such a cute show. I mean, I watched the little girl
yes.
Lele, start on Instagram doing freestyle rap in the car with her dad. You know what I mean? And she'd be like, all right, y'all ready? And she do her little thing, and now she has her own show on Nickelodeon, which is amazing. So I got a chance to play an evil character on that show, which was a lot of fun. And then Hightown, the third season of Hightown, I'll be recurring on that as well. That's coming up. I love to be able to, jump in roles that are completely different than other ones. And I guess the final one I would say is Insecure. I was in the first episode of the final season, and I was the one, and people people recognize me but know me because I'm the one who like robbed the girls. I robbed Issa and Molly, and it was like this big thing. But it also brought them back together as friends, I like to say. That experience. But she was so fun and so funny. Like, it was nothing like I'd ever played, but people don't realize I'd be like, hey, I'm funny. Like, I can be funny. So that was just the icing on the cake to be on that, because I watched that show for so many years and I've always wanted to be a part of it. So to get the opportunity to do it and then do it in such a great way, it was just a dream come true.
Now, I want to ask you about your hobbies.
Okay.
You like to write,
Mhm.
you like studying films, of course, playing with your dogs and
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, you've also written a book. So
Yes.
let's talk about your book, because recently I've started interviewing different actors and actresses that
Mhm.
are involved in the behind the scenes process and giving mentorship to people that would like to be in the field. So let's talk about the name of your book and how people can order it.
Absolutely. So the name of the book is called Women Who Shine. And it's a compilation of 30 different stories from 30 different women sharing their stories and how they've been able to overcome adversity. It's like a trials to triumph kind of story. And I shared my story, and it ended up being the forward in the book. You can buy it on Amazon, type my name in, Women Who Shine, or just put in Women Who Shine, Taja, and it'll come right up. And that book, was so therapeutic for me. It was my second book. The first one was Cracking the Acting Code. It was about acting. And then this one was more so my own personal journey. The book came out, it was an international bestseller. We went to number 1 right away. It was just a great, experience, because when you share a part of your life and you share a part of who you are, and you share, and for me, my story was based on colorism and growing up in the South in Louisiana. And so being able to share a story that I was always so ashamed of, or made to feel really ashamed of it, I never really wanted to expose that part of myself. But then allowing myself to just live in the authenticity of who I am and say, hey, this has been a part of your story. This is what made you who you are. And exposing that, if you will, it gave me so much freedom. It gave me a level of freedom that I didn't even know I needed at the moment. So then to become a bestseller on Amazon and an international bestseller on Amazon, that was just like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. It's not even really expected. But that one was done primarily, I want to say, for me, because it was therapeutic for me, but then sharing the story to the world and how it helped so many different people, or people, didn't realize my story and didn't know about it. It was just very eye-opening, but it also helped them as well. So, it just for me, that my takeaway or my learning lesson from allowing myself to showcase that part of me was like, hey, just continue to be authentically who you are and live your own truth. And if it helps people, great. If it doesn't, hey, it wasn't meant for them. But if it makes you feel good, then do more of it.
Mhm. Now,
Yeah.
for those listeners, viewers, readers that don't know much about what that particular truth is, can you give us a little capsule?
Yeah, little capsule. I like that. Yeah. So I grew up in a small town in Louisiana, and I grew up during a time where the brown paper bag test was something that was super real in my life. And the brown paper bag test is, if you are darker than a brown paper bag, then you weren't afforded, social norms, or people would discriminate against you because you were too dark. So as a kid growing up, I couldn't play with kids down the street from me because their parents would be like, oh no, you're too dark. I couldn't go into certain rooms that they'd be like, or certain homes, they'd be like, oh no, you're too dark. I even had a family member who, because I was dark skinned, called me ugly thing. That was her name for me. She would say, ugly thing. And when she would yell that out, and like the vibrato, how it would just vibrate off of her throat, out of her mouth, was always so, stinging for me. And she would call me ear, like ear. She would say, ear, she black, get off me, ear, don't let her touch me, ear. And she would always do it in like a jovial tone, things like that. But words have power, and words can either uplift you, or they can discourage you, or they can ultimately make you feel less than. And that's what was happening. So my parents would always, every time I would see this family member, my parents, they would always be a thing, like, stop doing this, all this stuff. But she was just such this huge personality. There was no stopping it. It just would, I had to learn to develop thicker skin. And so that's ultimately what I ended up doing. And so I had the most amazing parents that would always encourage me and uplift me and help me get through that. Not only from going through, going to school being bullied because I'm dark, going outside, try to play with kids because I'm dark, going to church, people discriminate me because I'm dark. It's like, it was in the fabric of the culture of that time in Louisiana. So when people read the story or hear about me speak on it, I'm like, it's like, imagine watching a movie and this is of that time, this is how it was. So I try to paint the picture that way, because when you say it in 2023, it's like, what? I'm like, right. And I get that jarring, reaction. However, in that time, that was just of the culture.
Well, it's still that way in many
and
places.
It's still that way.
If you look on social media, you'll find out that certain music celebrities have actually had parties where they have discriminated against darker skinned women getting to attend. Now, a few of them have tried to put on Instagram or whatever that they never said that, but it was obviously true because of the fact that there were people who went to these events and got turned away. I know for a fact that it's been true. And I do know that people still discriminate against folks whose skin color is darker than theirs. That still happens. I'm darker than some of my siblings and immediate relatives, but I never let that bother me. And I knew that I was always the smartest person in the room, so it didn't matter. And I too had amazing parents. So we will have to continue this type of conversation in the future, because I think it's important, because even though we are in 2023 and a lot of people do not really identify with what we may have gone through because they may be in interracial relationships or whatever, trust me, it is still happening. And it's a shame that our own people are the ones that in many cases can be the most hurtful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for this interview. And if you can tell us which is the social media handle that we should use to tag you.
Yes. So on Instagram, it's at Taja V Simpson, TAJA Simpson, SIMPSON. And actually, I'm at Taja V Simpson on all social sites, on Facebook, on Twitter.
Okay.
All of them.
And can you hold up the dog, or did the dog disappear?
Yes. Come here, man. Come here. Come here.
We want the dog to get
it. Never too far.
Is it a boy?
This is a boy. This is Jax. Come here, mama. And then this is Coco, my girl.
Okay, we wanted them to get their shine too.
I know, right?
Dogs.
Good girl, mama.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you too, Cynthia. I appreciate you for your time. Thank you.